Dr. Kara Powell, we're just really grateful for your presence with us today and for this lecture in our Yale Youth Ministry Institute lecture series. We're searching after the questions of what nurtures the experience of joy in young people and sets them up for lives of joy and flourish. But of course, that requires a little reflection on the very different ways people understand joy.
Yep.
What do you understand joy is?
Yeah.
What is joy?
Yeah. It's a little hard to pin down succinctly, at least it is for me. So I'm going to give a bit of a longer answer that's very much informed by my studies in practical theology, and in particular, the interdisciplinarity of practical theology, which is certainly exemplified at Fuller Seminary, where I'm a faculty member in the School of Theology, but then we have two other schools, our School of Psychology and Intercultural Studies. So over the last few years, I and others at the Fuller Youth Institute have been dialoguing, especially with our theology and psychology faculty, to try to figure out what are the toughest questions of young people? What are the most pervasive, prevalent questions in the life of a young person? And we've identified three, again, both from a theological and social science perspective. They are questions of identity, who am I? A question of belonging, where do I fit? And a question of purpose, what difference do I make? So identity, belonging, and purpose. Now, in my age and at your age, we're also continuing to wrestle with those questions, but for young people, they're at a rolling boil. So it might be a simmer for you and I, but it's boiling and churning for young people. And all of us, and especially young people, are prone to look for different answers to that question. And what I would say as someone who follows Jesus is that the answers in Scripture, the answer that Jesus gives, are the best answers to those questions. So identity, who am I? We're ultimately people who are saved by grace. Belonging, where do we fit? We best fit in a loving community. And purpose, what difference do I make? We best answer that question when we're part of God's mission. So back to your question of joy. I'm getting to your question of joy, Skip. I think we are most joyful when we are most fully experiencing the grace, love, and mission answers to our three most pervasive questions. So I think joy is highly correlated to our embrace of grace, love, and mission.